So in this section, we're going to talk about technology policy. So I'll talk briefly about one thing, and then we'll jump to talking about the main policy that countries follow. So one of the things for very low income, not very highly developed economies, they can adopt technologies that have already been developed. And this is a big advantage. So they can adopt, there's lots and lots of technologies that have already been developed, and they can adopt them and use them without having to create them themselves. And this is related to the idea we said earlier about catch-up. Besides the fact that you get greater gains from your capital investments at the beginning, also the countries which are following after, which are less developed at the beginning of the period, they can adopt technologies from the other countries, and they can move a little faster. In fact, this creates this phenomenon of something sometimes called leapfrogging. And so leapfrogging is where a country maybe doesn't have a system in place. So like, for example, a country that didn't have landlines, very few people had landlines, the infrastructure was not there for people to have landlines. So then when the mobile technology came out, people that can will immediately jump to the latest mobile technology. Whereas in a country with landlines, it might actually take people longer to adopt this new technology because they already have something in place, right? So you get a phenomenon of leapfrogging where often they jump straight to the latest technology. Yeah, so they're going to jump straight to the latest technology if possible. And so this could actually be a good thing. This is not really an overall technology policy. So when we get to overall technology policy, we're really talking about research and development policy. So that's what we're talking about. Now, so again, we said in the long run, economic growth is mostly due to technological improvement. Technology has this special thing. So the special thing is that new ideas are something called non-rival. So non-rival means more than one person can use them at the same time. In fact, an unlimited amount of people could use them at the same time. They don't bump each other out. So people all over the world can use these at the same time. And that's a great thing. Okay. So that is a great thing that people all over the world can use them at the same time, because it means if you create a new idea, an important new idea, well, then millions of people can all use your idea, right? And that's a great thing for productivity. It doesn't have this limitation of diminishing returns like capital did. So you build a machine, and then you can use that machine, or one factory can use that machine, right? But it's rival. If I'm using a machine, you can't use it at the same time. Ideas are a little bit different. So ideas are not limited by this situation of this diminishing returns. But this creates a little bit of a problem for incentives. So the problem is, because these ideas are not limited, and also they're something called non-excludable, so they tend to be, at least in a natural state, they're non-excludable. Since people can copy your ideas, they might not have the incentive, private actors might not have the incentive to invest at the optimal rate. So the private actors, if left alone with nothing, with no rules or incentives of any kind, the private actors don't have an incentive to invest as much as they should, or as much as is good for the society. We can call that the social optimum in developing new ideas. At least, so this is the idea. So because of this idea, then governments take it upon themselves to then do some policies which are aimed to overcome this. So what are some of these pro-tech growth policies? So one of them is the patent laws. Well, patent, I could also put copyright, patent. I'll put them kind of under the same idea. I know they're a little different, but so basically anything that gives people a proper right to their new ideas. So this gives you a property right to your new ideas. And this gives an incentive for innovation. Now, we can debate about what's the appropriate length of these, but without any kind of protection for new ideas, companies and individuals would have much lower incentive to invest in them. The second thing we can say here is grants for basic research. These are usually through universities and institutions, research institutions. And often this research is very basic. It could even be things like mathematics or physics or something like this, chemistry. And it's usually private companies won't engage in this. It's a little bit too far away from being something that can be monetized. But it's still very important research that ends up being the foundation for future products. And so often this is paid for or subsidized through the government, through research institutes as well as universities. And then the final one, we could have tax incentives and subsidies for the for private sector firms. Okay, so this is not a comprehensive list, but this gives us an idea of some things that governments do in order to try to boost their research and development, which can boost technology, which can improve and help the whole economy and to be more productive.